Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on definitely more than 10 minutes and not less, the RSI Polaris, which is right behind me. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, welcome back to another review. Today, the Robert Space Industries Polaris, and I have to have a big thank you to the team that helped me with this review today, manning all the guns and having a great time. I really appreciate it. Thank you again to everybody. Now, with that, this ship here is a massive ship, and it is $975 on the Pledge Store if you were to go ahead and buy it, or you can obtain it in-game using Wicklow favors, but that will take you a very long time. Only about 6 of them have been claimed so far, and the Legion is currently in the process of doing that as well. Now, it is not available for aUEC yet, but someday it potentially will be. This ship is 87 meters in width, 181 meters in length, and 40 meters in height. Like I said, it is a behemoth. This thing is a military capital ship, and it does output a ton of firepower. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you all these stats as quick as I can so I can show you the interior of this amazing ship, and so hopefully this review won't be 30 minutes long. We'll see. Now, this ship does have a 1 hour and 15 minute and 49 second claim time, or if you were to expedite it, it is 18 minutes and 57 seconds. Definitely not terrible for what this ship can do. And now you're asking yourself, well, what can this ship do if you're flying it maybe solo with a team? Well, you can do a lot. You can do cargo, you can do deliveries, you can do rock mining, you could take this thing anywhere because it has a massive amount of shield, massive amount of health points, and a great amount of firepower if you were to get those guns manned. With that, the pilot has no damage per second, no controllable guns, but it does have 16 size 3 arrestor 3 missiles. So the pilot can do a little bit of damage to somebody, but once those missiles are gone, the only job they have is to keep this ship in the air or space. Now, you do have 5 manned turrets and 2 remote turrets on the ship, outputting a total of 10,846 damage per second. And that's because of the size 6 Polaris bespoke cannon on the front, on the bottom of the nose there, as well as 8 size 4 OMSCI 12 laser cannons, 12 size 3 CF337 Panthers, and then you have 7 size 1 point defense cannons. This thing can dish out the firepower if you have all these guns mounted. But does that mean it can handle everything? No. And I'm going to tell you right now why. If you have enough fighters attacking one of these ships, it is definitely not difficult to get behind it and take out one of the shield faces and focus down on the engines or the weapons, or, there's a multitude of weaknesses on this ship you have to consider. But if you have a good enough crew and you can kind of learn to rotate your ship and, jump in and out on occasion, you can definitely keep it in the air and keep it alive. Now, you also have 12 size 2 Ignite 2 missiles on a remote turret on the back of the ship. Once those are out, they're done for, so that gunner will have nothing else to do at that point. And then you have 28 size 10 Polaris torpedoes. This ship is considered a torpedo boat, well, a torpedo capital boat, or a cruiser or a frigate or whatever you want to call it. It's massive. It's got a massive amount of torpedoes, and this thing can definitely dish out the firepower. But I will say, when you're shooting these torpedoes, you have to be very careful about what you're shooting at, because if you're shooting at another Polaris and the point defense cannons are online, you're going to have a chance that that torpedo explodes right at the front of your ship, causing you severe damage. So be careful when you do that. Did you know all those torpedoes combined gives you a little over 21 million damage in torpedo damage? That's insane. So if all those torpedoes hit a target, there's going to be nothing left of it. Now, this ship does have one size 4 shield generator, outputting a total of 908,000 quadrant shield. Yeah, that's insane. It's a great amount of firepower. But I will tell you, I've seen it a couple times where that shield generator was actually knocked out, and then you just didn't have any shield. It's pretty impressive that you can actually take out the shield generator altogether and just eliminate that from the equation. Now, if that shield does go down on one of your faces or you lose the generator altogether, you do have 3,947,100 ship health points. So you definitely have nothing to worry about right away because you're still going to be in the air or space, and you have a chance to jump out of there before anything, too severe happens. Now, with that, this ship does have a top SCM speed of 145 with a 250 forward boost and a 155 backwards boost with a top nav speed of 940. I will say, it's a slower ship, but it's definitely not terrible given the size of this ship. If you compare it to something like the Raft is 5 SCM slower than this ship. Yeah, I'd say this thing is definitely not bad in the speed department. Now, it does have a pitch yaw roll of 15, 15, 25, as any ship this size should, right? If you boost it, it is 20, 18, 35. So again, you really can't hit a ship on something like that because this is a massive ship and it's going to move kind of slow when you're trying to rotate it or the pitch, the yaw, the roll, whatever you want to do, it's definitely going to move a lot slower. I mean, it's a huge ship. If it didn't, there would be some major balance issues. Now, you have a total of 1,100 SCU of hydrogen fuel and 12.6 SCU of quantum fuel on this ship. So you're not going to be refueling pretty much at any point while you're flying this thing. So nothing to worry about there. It's quite impressive, actually. You'll be able to just jump wherever you want without ever having to ever touch the gas tank, honestly. Now, you do have the ability to carry 576 SCU of cargo and tons of vehicle space. I'm going to tell you right now, you can fit a multitude of spacecraft in the top hangar. You can fit a multitude of ground vehicles in the bottom hangars. This thing can carry pretty much anything, and it's pretty phenomenal. You can carry like 4 or 5 golems at the top. You can stuff a ton of rocks in here, geos. You can bring Hornets, F8s. I mean, you name it. When it comes to a medium fighter or a smaller fighter, or even some heavy fighters like the Scorpius, you're going to be able to put this thing to use. Absolutely. It'll carry pretty much everything you need it to. Why? Wow. It's going to do everything you need it to do when it comes to carrying vehicles. So nothing short of amazing there. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the first-person view here just to show you what we have. This is the Robert Space Industries Polaris. And right now, we do have all doors open. So that's why you see the doors open here on the side. This is one of your ground entrances here. You have another one on the other side. And then you have an elevator that drops down from right here, which is the slowest thing on the planet. So best advised not to do that. Now, you do have 2 docking collars as well right here. All right, where my my mouse pointer is. That's one of them there, and then there's one on the other side that allows you to get into the ship or out of the ship via EVA, or if you're attached to a docking station, like a docking arm. So pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and make our way here into the Polaris. This ship is massive. This is where you're going to bring your ground vehicles as well as your cargo, as it says here on the floor. You're going to note that most of the time, the insignia or anything that tells you where things are, it's pretty much on the floor, anywhere in this ship. It's not eye level most of the time. In certain areas it is, but a lot of the times it's not. Right here, you do have a pretty big tractor beam allowing you to move cargo around up here. It's not great at grabbing cargo from anywhere else except for here on this floor. You're not going to be grabbing anything from down on the bottom of the ramp. Nothing like that. Now, if we make our way over here, you do have a nice little elevator here, so you can put some torpedoes on there and then bring them on up to the station here to go ahead and reload them in this cylinder-style, revolver-style system here, where you carry those 28 size 10 torpedoes. Now, you do have a ton of relay stations littering this ship. So when engineering's a thing, this thing is going to be insane to keep online when you start getting attacked. You have engineering stations, you have fire extinguishers littering everywhere. Pretty much every room you go into, this room doesn't count, you're going to have a relay station. It's pretty impressive. Not in a great way. And then right here is your main elevator that goes to the ground or goes up to the bridge. If you use this elevator, expect to stay there for a very long time. And then if you make your way in here, you do have your torpedo control access. This is the only place you're going to be firing it here on the terminal to the right. So you'd go here, you'd go ahead and get online. Once you're onto the console, clap your hands, go ahead and get into the power system here. You hit enter remote turret, and you can go ahead and it's like a camera on a drone, right? You're just looking around for something to lock onto and engage, which is, it's pretty scary if you think about it. Those torpedoes are huge. Now, if you make your way through this next door here, again, a relay station and a fire extinguisher, relay station. And this is where you'd control the size 6 bespoke Polaris guns right here. You go ahead and sit down and get yourself quite the firing angle, which I'll show you really quick. Now, like I said, it's a massive gun, and it does a little bit over 3,000 damage per second when you're hitting your target, but it's insanely difficult to hit anything smaller than probably like an F8, because it's just, they're not the biggest, speed on the round type. So definitely consider what you're shooting at before you do, but it's just a fantastic size gun. It is really nice, and it does have a great view looking out that turret area. Let's make our way back up to the floor here, and we'll check out engineering. And I know I need to drink. Don't mention it. I know, I get it. I never bring any liquids, yada yada. Good news is this ship has a medical room, so I can just sit in the bed and have them put an IV on me, right? So let's make our way through this door, every other door, and we'll make our way to the next area of this ship here, where you have 2 ladder access points. Oh, by the way, this is where you control that tractor beam. You go here and use it. You can usually control it here. Let me see if it works this time. Last time it wasn't working for me, so let's see if they brought that back. Yeah, it does work this time. Cool. They fixed that. Love that. And then right here, you have 2 little elevators that take you up to the hangar above where you'd land any of your spaceships. And like I said, 2 ladder rooms here, one here, one over there, that take you up just in case these elevators are not operating. So we are going to forego going that way right now and head into the engine room and the shield generator room. Pretty much most of your components are going to be in this back half of the ship. Now, taking a look, you have a nice swimming pool here, so when you need to take a nice little dip, you can go ahead and jump on in. I don't recommend doing that. And then if you make your way up here, you do have engineering consoles as well as relay stations everywhere. So get ready for that. It is going to be quite the experience. Now, if you continue on the path, you see you have a nice nuclear reactor in your swimming pool. So this right here is where you'd have the nice hot tub area. You can go ahead and hop in and have a great time. Once again, don't do that. Now, if we make our way over here, you have a ladder. You can go ahead and go down there, get a little bit of a better view, so it's not as much of a jump when you're taking a dive. And then, again, relays everywhere. They're just everywhere. Fire extinguisher, nice. Make our way through the door back here, and you have a little elevator, which, elevators and doors, it's just what you get with this ship. Tons of doors, elevators, ramps, you name it, it has it. Let's make our way to the engineering deck. Right here is where you have another engineering terminal, so a total of 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 right here, 3 on each side in there, and then 1 right here. And then if you make your way up, you have another component area with another engineering terminal, relay station, more components littering the walls, littering back here. You got components just sprawled everywhere, and your grav core with no protective barriers other than this little thing right here, so you can just go ahead and walk on up and get your hand ripped apart, or it's just not a very nice area, right? So if we make, it looks beautiful, don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful, just very dangerous. You gotta be very careful, don't let your children on here. Now if you make your way up here, you'll see that you do have, this is where that elevator goes. Very interesting. But you do have your access points all around, and you're going to notice something when it comes to the floor paint. If you take a look down, you'll see the difference in floor paint colors. The orange leads you to the brig. And then if you walk over here, you're going to see a different color, which leads you to the medical room. That's how you're going to know which side of the ship you're on. So make sure you focus on that if you're confused on your orientation. Again, more component access on the wall here and over there, as well as one of your hangar door entrances right here. Now there are 4 hangar door entrances, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then of course the big door right up here, which you can control either via the console at the front of the ship, or you can control via the switch here. You just go ahead and pull that down and it'll go ahead and close this. Now, each side here has a little ramp that goes up if you control it at the front of the ship, which I'll show you that panel here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and go back through the door I came from so we don't get lost on our little tour of the Polaris here. If we make our way to the left and follow the blue line to the medical room, you will see this is where it's going to lead us. Like I said, the medical room. Now, the medical room is a very barren, very military-style medical room with not much going for it. You walk in here, you have a reception desk, and that's pretty much it. At the reception desk, you can place your medical guns here, a total of 3 of them. Pretty cool. Now, if you walk through these doors, you do have 2 medical beds, one here, and 2 on the other side as well. Now, if you go ahead and open this on up, you can take a look here, set your spawn, check out, all the everything here. They're tier 2 medical beds, so they're not going to heal everything, but it's pretty decent. I do like that. And then you do have some storage here. If you were to open that up, you can store some items, maybe a few guns or ammo or something. So if you die and you respawn here, you can go ahead and grab some more gear. Now, if you make your way back through this door over here, you have another 2 tier 2 beds. So like I said, it's very bland, very barren. There's no medical supplies. There's no pharmacy. There's nothing to take care of the crew. Honestly, it's honestly quite surprising. I'd say it's not going to be a part of my score system on this ship, but it's just, I wish they would take a little bit more attention and detail here and make it look like a real medical wing. Because even on a military ship, you're going to have pharmacy. You're going to have some sort of supplies to deal with the everyday sickness, right? Not just a bed with regeneration. So let's make our way. Let's go across here. Let's go over to the brig side so we can kind of hit, both sides at once here. If you make your way to the brig, like I said, you follow that orange paint, it leads you right to it. This is the brig where you can lock somebody up, and I know people have already. It's pretty interesting. You knock somebody out, you get them on in here, and then you shut the door, or you can open this up right here. It's like a little area that you can drop something in there and then close it. It opens up on the other side. It's like you can feed your prisoners. Pretty cool. But yeah, you do have a brig here, and it's got a pretty cool function too right here. These are live feeds. So if I had somebody in there right now, you'd be able to see them moving around, and I think that's just super cool. So very nice. Very nice that they're adding some more technology along with these new ships. So I can't wait to see more of that come into play. Now, if we follow the orange lines here down, you have a couple escape pods marked here on the wall. Surprisingly, they're marked up here as well as down here on the ground. And that is mirrored on the other side as well. Now, another relay station and a turret access point. This turret here is one of your quad CF337 Panther turrets, and it is mirrored on the other side as well. So when you get in here, the viewpoint's pretty much similar, just the other side of the ship, and it's pretty nice. Pretty nice turret setup. Honestly, one of the funner or more fun turrets on this ship, just because of the weapons that you stock get with it. So it is pretty nice, and the firing angles are definitely not terrible. Let's go ahead and turn it on. You can get almost a dead center like firing angle on the front of the ship here, which is pretty cool. And then it's definitely not terrible. No, not terrible at all. I think it's got a good amount of range for being on the side of a ship. Now, let's go ahead and make our way back up to the floor and continue on with this beautiful ship. Like I said, it's a military ship, so it is going to be bland, but there are certain rooms that just shouldn't be, right? Now, if you were to look straight ahead, this has like a little stairway here. This is one of your EVA ports or your docking collar ports, and you can open up this door and see what I mean. This is where you'd hop out if you're in space and you want to take a little space walk, or if you're docking on a station, this is where it's going to connect over here. Now, this is, again, mirrored on the other side of the ship right on over there. Now, right here is one of those ladder points that takes you on down, which is pretty cool. And over here, you have your crew quarters. So the crew quarters, it's really fun. If you walk in here, you'll see you have a couple beds. You have storage that you can open up in each one of the rooms. So tons of storage, a little sitting spot, and then you have a bathroom with a camera. And I don't have a head. Don't mind that. Hello, head. Where are you? But yes, it is a camera system. They're finally getting these mirrors working, even though technically it's not a mirror, it's a camera. And that's kind of an invasion of privacy. But 900 years in the future, they probably have some different privacy laws. I don't know. I don't know. But then again, every one of these rooms are mirrored. They're just kind of set up like that, replicate, and you're good to go. It looks nice. It's a nice crew quarters. It's very simple, very straight to the point, and you're able to store a ton of stuff. So I don't mind that at all. And then a few plants. Add in a little atmosphere, right? Making it kind of look nice. They're like, what do we do with this spot? Throw some plants there with the RSI symbol. Done. So make your way through this door, and you're going to be at the hallway. So I know I'm going to get you lost here. So right here is the hangar. This is just where we came from. To the right, you got your barracks area where you're going to have everybody. And then if you go this way, you're going to have the eating area, or the area that you're just going to get to relax at, have a phone conversation with somebody back home, or just watch some TV, as well as, chow down. It's the mess hall. Relax, right? Grab yourself some food. It's definitely not the kitchen you get in an Argo ship, right? Too bad. But it's not terrible either. Now, this is that main hallway. So mess hall, hangar, and then barracks area or living quarters. If you make your way here, you have another fire extinguisher and then 2 more turret access points. You can tell because of the red lighting, that means you've got a gun here. It also says on the ground, turret access. So go ahead and make our way through the door here. And this is a top turret housing one of those size 4 Omsky 12 quad turrets. So you're going to make your way up and you're going to have a very broad view on top of the ship, which is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and take a look here. These turrets, everything in this ship takes forever. Doors, elevators, turrets, nothing is in any sort of urgency, and it's a military ship, which is quite hilarious. So got to love that. Let's go ahead and hop out of here really quick, and we'll make our way to the next room. Like I said, it's mirrored on each side, so nothing to worry about on the firing angle there. Pretty nice, though. It is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and take a look down to the next door. Now, this is your captain's quarters. On the last review, I wasn't able to do this because the captain quarters wasn't ready yet. And I'll say, I'm not sure if it's still ready, but it looks pretty good. It's not terrible. It just, everything in this ship is kind of bland. It's got that military gray, a little bit of color here and there. And then, they left a lot of space for someday when you'll be able to put things on the walls and, actually decorate without it falling off or, disappearing, stuff like that, as well as being able to place your weapons here. This is actually a weapons rack for the captain, so you can kind of display some trophy weapons or just have access to your guns right here in your own little quarters, which is pretty cool, as well as a nice bed here. And pretty cool. And open this door, you got yourself a little suit locker or clothes area. You got some storage right above the bed. Pretty nice. Anything to help with more storage. Always love that. And then your own personal bathroom, which you can go ahead and open up the toilet there. Ooh, toilets. Oh, yay. And then another mirror or video feed here, which, again, privacy concerns. But let's make our way through the next door. Here's that main elevator right here. This elevator takes 13 years to go up and down, so it's advisable not to use it. And then right across from that door, you make your way in here, and you got yourself an armory where you can load up tons and tons of guns. You got total amounts of rifle space, handgun space. You got your big guns everywhere. You got a nice little bench here. You can sit down, put your shoes on. You got armor lockers, suit lockers. It's just fantastic. Nice little armory spot right across from the main elevator. And then another door. And then you have yourself your escape pods. 4 here, 4 there. Pretty nice. Another door. Make our way through this one. And then you have the captain's bridge, the cartography area. Everything you're going to do to control the ship primarily from here. So cartography, you got some component areas that aren't filled in yet. So when you shut these doors, it looks a little bit better. And then a fire extinguisher on this side, as well as just being able to come down here and take control of your ship. This is the Robert Space Industries Polaris. Right here is where you control the remote missile launcher with the 12 size 2s. And then over here is the bottom remote quad CF337s, as well as your captain's chair. You can control some of the power systems, but not the ship itself, and your pilot seat, where you can control the ship all together from right here, or you can control it from over here, which is the co-pilot seat. Now, let me show you something pretty cool about this seat. If you were to hop in here really quick, you can control everything from that top hanger from right here. So we look over here on this panel to the right, you can open these doors. So let me click on each one of these, and then you look at the camera. You even got a camera in here, which is pretty cool. That's those doors there. So it would help in an environment where something's taking off. You're going to stop the blast from going through those doors. Pretty cool like that. As well as controlling the actual hangar door from that middle button. So press that button and this thing should start closing. It is fantastic. Well, that is the Robert Space Industries Polaris. This thing is phenomenal. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the little shooting scenes and everything. It is a fun ship to fly. It is a fantastic ship to be in if you're doing the aligner mine. And honestly, you just have a great time doing anything with this ship, especially if you have a crew. Especially with the crew, it's a ton of fun. With that, my score on this ship is a 96 out of 100, only lacking a few points in its speed and maneuverability, but of course, it is a capital ship. What do you expect, right? Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for being here. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next one.